this one a little bit more difficult. First, I'll do the cuts on the X pieces that only go 1/3 of the way deep, and one of those pieces is cut with the auxiliary fence in the same position as it was for the first cuts. The second piece of the X needs to be cut the opposite way, but I didn't want to take the fence off just yet because I needed that initial angle for the third mating walnut piece after, so I put on another auxiliary fence that held the piece at an opposing angle and made those cuts. Now you can see I created sort of an X shape, but it's stepped where the second cut is, so it's not as deep. Moving on to the third piece, I raised the blade so it would cut 2/3 of the way through the material and use the curve of the sled to help me line up the pieces to cut on my marks. Now I can remove the initial fence and switch it over to the other side, making sure the angle was still 30 degrees, and I make the final cuts, completing the joint. Here's what all three parts of this joint look like. The only thing that makes this so difficult is the fact that all three of these parts are different. But it's super satisfying when it all clicks into place. The glue up is pretty straightforward, just glue all the parts, and it only requires one clamp, which is cool. It was feeling a bit boxy to me, so I cut the corners off at the bandsaw, cleaned it up at the benchtop sander, sanded all the faces, and threw some finish on. On to the third trivet. For this one, I'll only need 2 contrasting colors. So I ripped some scraps into pieces that are about 1 inch square. Then, in keeping with the 30-degree angle theme, I cut those into 6 equal parts with 30-degree angles on both their ends. The 3 pieces from each color will create a triangle, and now I have to figure out how to intertwine all these parts to create a 6-pointed star, also known as a Star of David. When examining